Do, 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 do. Hello. I think this thing is on. I think the show is on. Welcome to another episode of You Can't Do That on Salesforce. I'm going to actually, let me grab some headphones because I got the sliding door open and we got wind, and I don't know if y'all can hear it, so hold on. Just going to check in on that. Let's see. Where do we check this? Over here? I mean, you got the nature, you got the sounds of the planet, so maybe we'll leave it on. All right. I'm going to turn this off here, and then I can just talk to you all over here. So, if you're in the chat and it sounds windy and it's annoying, just let me know. We'll get it fixed up for you. All right. So today's episode, I got the itch to mess around with some Lightning Web Components because it's been a minute. We've been building a lot of stuff native on the platform. Spent some time looking at Apex Data Weave and external services and HTTP callouts and flow, and all that stuff is super cool. I was actually inspired by a thread on LinkedIn from Warren had posted something last week about hey, what are your best practices with Lightning Web Components when it comes to parent-child relationships? And that got me interested because I immediately thought, what's the worst things that I could do with some Lightning Web Components? Not the worst things, but maybe just interesting things that we could experiment with. If you watched the show last season, I had this app called the Inefficient Icon Inventory, which ended up being like a pixel editor for Salesforce. It's still out there. It's kind of on a shelf for right now. Probably want to bring that back at some point because, my attention span is terrible and I, need shiny new things whenever I can get them. But in that app, I learned a lot about pushing the boundaries of Lightning Web Components by way of literally having a component that represented every pixel in a 200 by 200 or 400 by 400 picture, right? So, and saw some significant differences in using Lightning Web Components to represent each pixel versus using one web component or one LWC and then just HTML elements to represent each pixel. So the little performance, around that. I mean, what are you going to expect? You put 80,000 things on a page, it's not going to perform well. It just, it's just kind of the way things go. But I put that down for a while and then came back today and was, or this morning was thinking, what to do on the show. And haven't played with some LWC in a little while. Thought about Warren's post and said, let's do some weird stuff with some Lightning Web Components. And the first thing I thought of course, like, what's the best way to break something? Recursion, infinite loop. So I want to see if and how we can have a LWC call itself, create instances of itself within itself, and see how far down that rabbit hole we can go. And maybe we'll learn something about recursion or fractals or I don't know, something clever along the way. So to that end, I've actually got one of my obligatory scratch orgs. This was actually, I think, from a couple of weeks ago, as we were building the flow call out Atron. My original intent was to have two Salesforce orgs communicating with each other, posting back and forth. That didn't quite work out, but I did get the get it to kind of work, you know, and actually it was fairly successful, I thought. But the point is, I've still got this scratch org open, so I thought we could just do our work in here. So my inspiration, you know, what's a good theme for kind of talk about? I'm going to talk about recursive web component, Lightning web components, trees and branches, maybe something like that. I don't know. Yeah, well, let's go with that. So let's. The goal is create a recursively called Lightning web component, and let's see how far we get with that. I'm going to close this window or door because it's a little. It's getting a little noisy. And a little breezy. I'm just waiting for the right gust of wind to come through and throw all the garbage that you guys can't see on my desk into the air. So, all right, let's see. LWC. Let's call this. Well, let's create a new. Oops. Create Lightning web component, and I don't know. Let's call it. What should we call it? Branch. We'll call it branch. We'll make a tree. See if we can make a tree. Okay, there's branch. Cool. We want. Let's see. We need branches to be able to call other branches. So I guess first things first. Let's put something in here. Branch. There we go. Let's make sure this is exposed, and then I think we need to probably let's create an app page that we can display this on. App builder. Sure. Let's just LWC fun. One big region. Cool. Now we haven't exposed it to an app page, so I need to remember how to do that. And what are those targets? What do they call those? Target config. Yeah. I think we just need the targets, right? I don't know if we need. Do you need a config to go with your target? I don't think you do. Let's just say app page. There we go. Cool. Done. Now, is it done? Can I actually put it on the page? Let's find out. Let's save this. Activate it. LWC fun. Sure. I don't think we'll pop it out there. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna refresh this and hopefully I can put my branch out here. There it is. Okay, branch. Wonderful. So there's our branch. Now save and go back. Make sure we can actually see it in the org. Oops. I can't type. LWC fun. Here we go. Branch. Yahoo. Okay. And that's it, folks. Tune in next week. No, just kidding. All right. There's a branch that now what I basically want to do is put another branch in here. Oh, wait. Can't do the closing tag. I'm going to do the whole shebang. What happens? Okay, we got branch and a branch. I think right away we're going to have a little... there we go. Maximum stack call size exceeded. What is the maximum stack call size? Exactly. Do we know? Let's go find out. Not sure if anybody, where can we find that number? Oh, here. No, this is the forums. Wait. Anything? Well, we can find out what that size is if we tweak this component to know what to do with itself. Let's make a container so we can have a branch. We can have an instance of a branch somewhere that we can pass some parameters into, because we could just like, even if this just passes a number, right? I think if we have let's just say depth, right? This can keep track for us how deep we can go. Let's add one more component here so we can pass it the depth that we want it to operate at, and then we can do maybe we can pass a max depth too, so we don't go too deep. Container of a branch is a tree, right? So let's call that tree. We need to apply the same metadata to the tree component. There we go. And now let's come back in here and change this from our branch. That's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's the design. The page designer didn't have much of a problem. Well, it gave up after a while, but it kind of knew how far it could go. So let's find out for ourselves how deep this can go. Let's take this out. I'll replace it with tree. There's nothing in tree right now, but at least it's there. And, let's just have tree tell us that it's a tree. Okay. Oh. All right. And then we'll pass a branch here. Let's say max depth equals 10. Why not? Do we have a max depth? We don't. We need a max depth here. Okay, and then we probably want to default depth to something. We have that in our tree. We have that as our max depth. All right, so let's say here, this is our branch, and then we only want to, I'm going to make a getter here that's, let's see, is, we want to test if the depth is greater than or equal to the max depth. So is max depth, and let's return depth equals max depth. Oops, sorry. Okay, so then we can use that over here. We'll make a template. If true, is max depth. Okay. And if false, max depth, then we're going to pass keep passing the max depth down, and we'll pass depth. Okay. And let's say branch level depth, so we can kind of keep tabs on that. Let's call this, we should have something that's next depth, I think. And then we'll return depth this depth plus 1. So we'll tell it to go and then the only question I can't recall is do we need to do a setter on the depth, or will our incoming value? That's a good question. LWC property default value. Will it accept my default value? Let's see what's going on here. Just looking for a quick reference. Let's see. I also wonder, can we get past the maximum depth if we introduce some like delay, like some timeout for these things to boop, 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 keep going. We'll see. But anyway, well, let's just run this and we'll see if my default is defaulting, and if not, and all right, we still have our maximum size. Did I not save? I didn't save this. Tree has a branch. We need to save branch because it's going to go forever. Okay, and let's refresh. Oh. Do I have Lightning Debug enabled in this org? We probably should. All right, boop, enable, and cool. And now I want to check the debugs here and see if my default value could be throwing some stuff off here. Refresh, debug. That's not what we want. We want, where are you? I can never find the components that we're looking for here. Where'd you go? Let me refresh this and make sure I actually have. Yep, I know we got an error. Where are you? Oh, that's the uncompiled, or the compiled version. Oh. Here we go. I think we got them now. Yep. Are these what are being debugged, though? That's depth 0. Ooh, max. That's a string. Yeah, we got to fix that. That should be. I think it should just be this, right? Just 10. Or I can pass it as create a property for it. All right, let's refresh that. Wait, we probably should clear our cache. Yeah, all right, where are we off here? Let's do a hard reload. Okay, really? Come on now. I guess we'll pass that as a property because it seems to be taken on the. I mean, I could do a parsing on it, but all right. Does this hit next depth now? Doesn't seem to be. All right, what have we got going on? So C branch, max depth equals 10. Let's put some properties out here. Max depth equals max depth. Doot. And now maybe we'll have a little bit more. It just keeps rolling on that. That's odd. Oh, well, it could just, well, wait a minute. I don't know why we're not getting into this, though. Let's see. Did I do something silly? If is false, right? If false is max depth, then, oh, next. Spelling is hard, kids. See how we do now. All right, depth +1, and then we're into the next one. All right, good. So it's bringing my, even though I'm defaulting to 0, the value I pass in is superseding it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay. Level 10. Groovy. So we know we can go 10 levels deep, and this is working. So I'm just gonna up the number now and see how far we can get. And our max depth, let's try 32. That sounds like a computer number. Yeah, we got to 32. Okay. 64. Just going to keep doubling until it says no. So, okay, so we're going for 64. You know what I want to do? I'm going to give this a little bit of style just to make it look funky. Let's do a div that contains it, and then we'll do that div, and then we'll do this and the template. Actually, let's put the no, this is fine. Let's do some style here. Let's do a border. Solid 1 pixel. Let's do a black border, and let's do some padding. 2 rem, some margin. I cannot spell today, ladies and gentlemen. 2 rem padding, margin. 2 rem. Okay. Okay, we got. Let's see. That should give us something. So at least we can separate these, and they should nest because that's what we're after. Trying to go for 64. Okay, so maybe my scaling is a little too big, but let's go to like. I'll make this I'll just do padding, like just do 4 pixels and margin 4 pixels. There we go. Okay. Well, we made it to we made a pyramid. We made it to 64 levels. Let's try 128. I guess it's not really a tree so much as a layer cake, I guess. I'll make this a little bit wider so we have a little bit more room. Performance-wise, I don't know if do we get any. Do we get any details on? Well, that's not the performance I'm looking for. Let's see. If I record this and then refresh this, what happens? All right, we're up to 128. will it show us our... Here's the timeline. So somewhere in here, there's where the... I wish this showed me, like, as I ran across here, like how much... Man, this is deep. Whew. Oh, I'm zooming. How do I scroll back and forth, though? Oh, I can just drag it. Neat. Where did everything go down here? Does it show? Oh, this was our site. I see. This is the... All right, this is the window that we're looking at down below, and then, boop, that's where it does. Warning, handler took 82 milliseconds. Long task. Long task just before our... It's interesting. There's our... Maybe. That might be our depth that we're seeing there. But we still made it to 128. Yep. All right, I'm going to keep going. I guess the more I think of it, it's probably not useful to have this style on there because it just kind of creates a mess. So we'll go with nothing. Did I up the number? I did go to 256. Yeah. I wonder if it's if this changes at all because we have a template there or we have a condition that tells it whether or not to keep rendering. And nope, there we go. All right, we're up to 512. So greater than 256, less than 512. Let's go to 400. Let's see, 400. Okay. Not 400. 300. $300's okay. 350. I feel like an auctioneer. Uh-oh. Oh, so 350. Well, that's neat. 350 blows up the page and I don't get the message. Okay, so let's go 325. Unless I did something else that's making this go haywire. Oh, snap. Okay. Interesting. Well, let's go back to 256 because we weren't having a... This is a new error. And with a greater number, we were just getting the too many maximum depth reads. All right, so 256, we're good. I think I did 300, so I'm going to say 10. We're really going to get down to it here. We get the aw snap at 310. Were we good at 300? I think we were good at 300. 305? Oh, nope. 301? 301. is okay. We are going to inch up to this thing, 302. .302 is okay. So the other thing I'm curious is this, well, we have to solve this first, but I'm wondering if we, what would happen if I had two trees on the page? Would they both go to 300? We can try that next. 303. Still alive. 304. For my next episode, I will be watching grass grow and watching water boil. 304. What was the error? Oh man, it's just hosed. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. Got to do a hard reset or refresh, and aw snap. All right, it looks like 304 or 303 is the number of recursions that you can have, or at least the depth that you can have in a Lightning Web Component. Let's put a second tree on the page. And I wonder if I'm gonna write down 303 so I don't get carried away and not start changing it again. All right, so we have one tree. Let's edit our page. We'll put a second tree component on here. Can we change the layout so maybe we've got two columns? Perfect. Two regions. And add a second tree. They're both going to 303. Save that. So the question here is, does the depth limit care about how many components are on the page? So I got two trees now. They both go to 303. Let's take them both to 304. We go to Aw Snaptown. Okay. So it stays as 303 no matter how many components. Well, I'm going to put a couple more trees out on the page. I wonder what would happen if we had what would happen if we nested 303 trees inside of a larger container. Let's make a forest. Object. Let's go back to 303 a second and see how we did there. Okay, so 303 is all right there. Yeah, these are nested inside each other. They're just rendered flat. Okay, well there you have it. 303 Lightning Web Components, nested Lightning Web Components before you blow up. Contrast that with what if we just had. So this is nesting, right? Nest 303 seems to be our nesting limit. I don't know if it's a function of the object itself, right? Like the complexity, because this is pretty simple. There's not much going on with each branch. So it's possible that what we have, the reason why this is going as deep as it is because the component is simple. I don't know. If you had a more complex component, would it introduce some more complexity or limit? But now what if we, do we run into a limit with just the raw number of components on a page, right? This is what I ran into when I built the inefficient icon inventory last year. we got up to 60 or 70,000 components on a page, and it did not perform very well. So let's do this. Let's make a new component called pixel, and let's make a new component called grid. Okay, and let's we want the grid. Well, we want the pixel to just be a pixel, right? So we'll make it a div, and style is width 1, height. I feel like I'm having flashbacks to the icon inventory, but that's all right. This will be fun. Let's we'll make it a color. We'll just make them all white for now, and we want these to we just want these to I want them to flow. What do I need to do to make something flow layout wise? It's been a minute. Grid CSS. Will CSS grid do that for us? Yep, I'll take your cookies. I just want, I want to be able to say wrap after a certain number. Can we just do that with divs, and then divs floated to the left? Yeah, this feels like more than we need. I am not a CSS genius, as you can clearly tell, but this feels like more than we need. All right, let's go back here. We're just gonna make. All right, there's our pixel. Yeah, can we just float left here? I think we can do that. We got our pixels. We'll put our pixels in a grid. And what I want to do is loop. I want to be able to define a. Well, first we need to do all the expose and stuff here. So let me just copy that, because we're going to need to put this on a page in a minute. Okay. I want to be able to define, I guess, just rows and columns, right? So and we're just going to pass those ourselves. So rows equal 10, calls equal 10, and we can loop, right? I think we can just loop the columns, and then we'll loop the rows. Can we do a for index, because we know the limit? For index, I don't see that here. All right, so we need an array. I want to do this without. I don't know if I can do this without. do this without having to create components to pass more values into, but I don't know if I can get away with that. I wanted to just loop I'm going to loop the rows from 0 to 10, and then we'll loop the columns within each row, and we'll place a pixel down for each of those. But to do that, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is what I wrote for the icon inventory, and it's like all escaping me now. We need an array to loop over, unless we can do an iterator. Do they talk about the iterator here? Yeah, it still has to be an array, though. Well, I mean, if we just had... am I making this too hard? Maybe our, is our row, I'm gonna do this kind of dumb, to start, and then we could probably write a, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 5 there, and then the columns 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, got that. Now go over here, and for each, right? For each, I got for. Yep. So for each, we're gonna need a key too, right? Like that's kind of the annoying part of this. Maybe I can just use the index for the key for each pixel. That's always my favorite part of lists, is having to drop a key on the thing. But that's okay. We'll try it out. For each equals rows. For index equals IDX, and then we'll do for each equals calls. I guess we'll call this row IDX. We'll call this call IDX, and then we'll put down a pixel. Oops. Now it should bark at me because I didn't give it a key. Oh, for each for item. Missing key element. Yep. Let's put call index in there. I don't think it's going to like it, but we might be able to skirt around the fact that we're just iterating over the same. Well, all right. Again, we're not. So this should give us a 10 by 10 or 5 by 5 grid. I won't really be able to see it very well because the... Oh, where is my... Where is my computer making noise? Okay. Let's see. Grid. Doop. And we don't have any pixels in there, so that something might be off already. Save that. Go back. Do we have anything out here? This is where it would be. Here's the slot. There's my grid component. There's my grid, so there's nothing in there. Let's do this. Let's put it in a... We can write out the row index and the call index and not, I just want to make sure I'm actually getting into the loop here. Let's take pixel out of the equation for a second. It could be because we're not actually iterating over the right thing here. Yeah, let's see. Got our rows, we got our columns. If we just iterate over rows, what do we get? Okay. So there we get rows. And what we don't get is, I wish I could make my own key here, you know. Unfortunately, there's no good way to do that. So I could build a data structure. This is what I usually have to end up doing, right? Build a data structure in the JavaScript that reflects the grid, and then you can have the grid just use that data set, which is kind of annoying, but we can definitely do that. I was hoping to sneak around the issue here. I'm curious if I do this. Oh wait, I can't spell calls. This could be the problem. Oh man, spelling's killing me today, people. Can't spell good. How do we do? Okay. So 1, 2, 3. We're rendering this, which oops. Okay, 0 to 4. So it's okay with that. Now let's bring our pixel back. Okay. Pixel time. We're going to have a very, very, very small grid here, I think. Are we? So small we can't see it. Width 1, height 1. It's interesting that I can't actually see anything. It's in there. But where? Oh, is it because we're floating? I think we need to clear the let's just make them bigger. I'm going nuts here. We can just make these bigger and see if they're actually It's rendering, just not getting the oh wait, we don't have the row. We don't have a div for the row in here. So that's going to need a key also, because that is also in a loop. All right, we're getting closer, I think. Let's see. I'm doing a really basic thing wrong with my CSS here. I want them to have a color. I've given them a height and a width. I'm going to take the float out here for a second because I think that's where I'm messing up. They're all just going to stack on each other for a minute, or they should. Anyway, let's see how it renders. So I'm still not getting anything. That's really weird. It's there. But there's no color. Why? I'm just gonna put a put a dot in these and see if that's rendering. There we go. Oh wait, I'm losing it. This is background color. Whew. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna put. Let's put a border around this container because I'm pretty sure that I need to clear this. I think they're all just stacking up. All right. Yeah, so we need to float. I think we need to float this left too, right? Float, left, clear, right, and then those should fall into place. Clear both. There we go. Okay. Whew. All right. So within these, we have pixels, 10 pixel sized pixels. So zoomed in a little bit. And now let's go crazy. So instead of manually building this, this here, I can build, let's just do a connected callback, and then we'll build the, we'll write a little algorithm to populate our, or we could just like fill array, right, with, let's let a equal this, and maybe we'd pass in a, a size, and we don't really even need to fill it with the number. We can just fill it with, I guess, anything we want. But for let's say let x equals 0, x less than a size, x plus plus, a not push x, and then we'll return a. So we'll let this dot rows equal This.fill array. We'll go to 10 to start. And columns, we'll go to 10 also. Hopefully that gets us what we want. Okay, and now we should get the same thing, only bigger, I believe. I'm just going to take these away so they're not throwing us off. So now we should get a 10 by 10 grid. And we do. Okay. So that's 100 very basic pixel components plus some markup in the page. Probably could clean this up with a little bit of style reference, so that would tighten up the markup that's produced. Let's go bigger. Let's have it iterate over, let's just go 100 by 100. And then we can also shrink the I'll tell you what, let's take the I do need the clear in the border. This will trim it down, trim our markup down a little bit. All right. Oh, right, we've got a. I'm going to adjust the layout here, put it back to a one column situation, just so we can use the full width. All right, save that. I think I saved it. Okay. So we're starting to get, that's 10,000 components on the page. And can we look at our performance and begin to, sorry, I've got this, I had to drag this down a little bit further because we ran out of page. Can our performance show us that, I wonder? Okay. Let's see what our profiling tells us here. Big process here. Where are we there? Layout shift. Cumulative layout shifts. How often users experience unexpected layout shifts. We had a pretty significant layout shift by dropping all that stuff, dumping all that stuff onto the page. And let's see. I'm just wondering, really wondering, like, what can we see in this data? A lot of depth here. Let's click into one of these and see. Apply or total time. So I wish I could kind of, it looks like, all right, that's where the page itself loaded. Well, kind of like preloaded. And then from about, well, almost, not about, I think almost exactly. That's a score, not a time. Do we have any timing in here? Lex root activity, so that's kind of interesting. Performance search timeline assist dialog init. These feel important, and I just don't know I suspect these are going to go up. Probably worth doing a little investigation around what these mean. Now back here at 6. Oh, that was our previous page. So it feels like Lightning performance is like the whole shebang, right? The whole life cycle of the page, maybe. If we drag this, whoops. If we take ourselves way out here, let's go in this window here. So that's already, I'm kind of looking for like, is there anything that, what's that purple? Whoops. Network, we don't have any network. Probably no network activity there. Can I move this? Getting lost in the navigation of this a little bit. I want to see, Oh, I dragged the wrong thing. Okay. I want to see what's going on in here. Main. All right, here's my app, my LWC. Well, that's my page. Recalculate style, layout, okay. This task, right? This is the task of, looks like the task of loading the page. That task took 881 milliseconds. Okay, which is milli, less than 1, so it took less than a second, but what is a task? Any discrete piece of work that the browser does. Okay. Tasks impact performance. The main thread is where most tasks run on the browser. It's called the main thread. It's the one that usually does the work. The main thread can only process one task at a time. When tasks stretch beyond a certain point, they're 50 milliseconds, they're considered long. If the user attempts to interact with the page while a long task runs, the browser will be delayed in handling that work. This results in interaction latency. Okay. You need to break up tasks. This means taking a single long task and dividing it into smaller tasks that take less time to run individually. Makes sense. So I'm gonna go a little more overboard with our example here, and then I wonder if we can, how do we break up a big task into smaller tasks? We could set timeout on each row, maybe. Maybe that would work. Let's refresh this and see just kind of how noticeable the behavior is. I think that's this span. Yep. So there's our 881. That's about how long it took. Oh, sorry, that was my, let's record the page. Oh, I like that better. Record the page load. Cool. Let's see. Page load and done. All right, so on here, nope, now where's our task? Took 1 second to load all of that. All right, let's make it bigger. Is it linear? If we make our rows 200, do we get double? Oops, where did my, darn it, lost my, okay, let's refresh. Probably don't need the screenshots. Maybe that would make it run a little faster too. Okay, here's our 1.68. So we're loading 20,000 components onto the page, and it takes 1.86 seconds to run that. We still haven't. I mean, we haven't hit a timeout on this, so I'm gonna go bigger. Let's go 200 by 200, and so this would then be another doubling. So we'll see how long this takes. I keep losing my performance window here. Okay, I'm going to turn off the screenshots because I don't really need them. Nope, you go away. Okay, and refresh. It looks ugly because the screen width is just it's too big. So I could maybe pull this further out, and there we go. You guys probably can't see all that, but so we were 168 with 20,000 components. Oh, here we go. All right, we got some responsiveness starting to kick in, and wow, that was quite a bit of time. Our task is up to 3.86, so you know it's not mathematically perfect, but it's starting to basically double. That's 40. Am I right? 40,000. Yeah, 200 by 200. That's 40,000 components on the page that have been generated. Might dread this, but okay. Here's our. Now, how to make it. So our issue with we've tested two things, right? We just started getting the I'm going to double it one more time, but we just started getting the non-responsive page error, which generally you can kind of sit around and wait for that to to finish reporting, and eventually the page will refresh, but we haven't gotten like an oh snap browser explosion here yet. So we're going to go 400 by 200 that's 80,000 components on the page. And let's refresh through the performance view and go. Now, I don't know if that non-responsive was due to the due to the dev tool, the console, or due to the page, because I didn't see it show up this time. So it could be we can turn off the dev tools and just see how it performs as an end user. Definitely taking a second. definitely taking a minute. And how far out did we go? Oops. Nope. I'm dragging it wrong. Here we go. Let's see. See, so now I guess the screenshots are useful. Because I can't find. I don't think it's this. I think it's this here. And maybe it just kind of gave up on us. So I'm going to do the old school. This roughly is telling us a little bit too. 6.7 seconds. 80,000 components. Is my math right? 400 times 400. 160,000 components up next. I just want to see what we get. How far out do we get before we get the unresponsive message? We got to be getting close here. Oh, look at that. All right, we're getting into OSNAP territory. It's 160,000 components. I can't do much. I'm going to wait. I think we've definitely found our limit, right? There's that's officially too many. And yeah, the browser still hasn't come back to life for me yet. Yeah, it's dead. All right. So I think we definitely hit our limit. 160,000 components on the page. Too many. This is still coming back and kind of dying there. So let's scale this back. We'll go to I don't know. Let's go to we'll go back to I will say like 100 even 10,000 components on the page it was doing okay. It was hanging tough with that many. We weren't getting the the non-responsive message of death there. Let's see if we bring this back down. I know, let's exit. Here, we'll start afresh. Okay. And the page is responding, right? So that's cool. Even 20,000 didn't seem insurmountable, but would you ever do this in real life? Probably not. But it gives it. The thing that's important is so the alternative here would be, oh well, let's just make some markup, and maybe that's a good comparison, right? Because our what's our pixel doing? Nothing really. It's just it's just rendering some data. So it's not doing anything active. We truly don't need everything that comes along with the Lightning Web Component. just to get this, right? So for comparison, and I don't know how scientific we can make this, but perhaps having well, let's do this. Let's go back to 20,000, right? Let's say 20,000 components on the page. See if we can measure that, and then we'll look at we can look at performance, and then we can compare with, instead of creating instances of pixel, we just output what pixel shows us, right? It's all that's rendering. It's a read-only component. So we don't get the advantage of having a Lightning Web component, but in this case, we don't really need it. And that might also show us some performance comparison. Before that, I'm going to go grab a drink and take a quick break, and we'll come back. And I will turn off my screen, and I'll turn off my mic in a second, and we'll just say, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We're back. And my not sponsored beverage is back with me. I like the puppy. Okay. All right, what are we going to do? We're going to compare the performance of 20,000 pixel components with the performance of just 20,000 whatchamacallit, HTML elements. All right, how did we do there? We had, why can I not find the, where's the task? There it is. Oh, it's staring right at me. All right, 20,000. I'm going to write some of these down. Let's see. This is 20,000 LWCs. What do we get? 1.66. Let's run it 5 times, I guess. Totally scientific. Where'd you go? I lost you again. Darn it. Hold on. Dev tool. There we go. Okay, first attempt 1.66. Let's do it again. Second round, 1.65. Consistent. We'll do this 3 more times. And, no, that's not what we want. That's a dev console, not dev tools. Round 3. Now, again, the things we're doing here are just completely ridiculous, right? Like, I wouldn't recommend you build anything that requires 20,000 web components. Because that's just silly. But that's what we do on this show. 1.94, round 3. Round 4. All right, this is our 4th go, and then we'll do one more. Just making sure it's not it's the DevTools performance that's... Maybe I need to close down the console and open it up again, because it does seem to take longer each progressive time to process that. All right, here, I think this is our task. 1.97. Okay. And once more. Cooking. I do wonder if something happens as you progressively use it. Nope, never mind. I just had to say bad things about it, and then it started working fine. All right, last round was 1.69. Okay. So in our extremely scientific world of... let's do some math. Divide by 5. Right? 6.6 plus 6.5 plus 1.94 plus 1.97 plus 1.69. 0.69 divided by, oh boy, there goes the typing again. Wow. Divided by 5. So 1.78 is about the... So load and render 20,000 Lightning components. Don't ever do that. 1.78 seconds load time on average. Now let's flip this over, right? So I'm just going to take the pixel component, and instead of generating a component, I'm going to just output the HTML. Now it's still got some CSS in there, so we might be taking a little bit of a hit due to the... oh, I do need a key on that. I forgot. Yep. Due to the markup, but it shouldn't be that significant. So column index, there we go. There we go. And okay. So now we should still get 20,000 elements, but no web components, no LWCs. And again, I apologize. This is not fitting on the page very well. It gets ugly fast. So it's not very exciting. It's a giant square. I suppose I could make the pixels probably a little smaller, but that's all right. Let's run. I want to run this just kind of without. I'm going to turn the dev tools off just to sort of visualize, without that processing, how it performs. So let's refresh this. Okay. There you have it. And then again, the markup. This is all just markup now. So let's see how that presents in the performance window. So let's refresh. Okay, so this is the span that I think we're looking at. Is that right? Yep. All right, so let's see. We're at 1.14. So this would be just 20,000 divs, basically, right? We are still looping, right? So there's still some LWC-edness to all of that, but we're not. Just wanted to scroll down through this, so we're still, because of the iteration, we're still rendering stuff, but that took a little less time. Did we write down the first one? It was 1.14. Okay, and let's run it again. Let's do five times. 5 times is science, right? Yep, you can quote me on that. All right, next go. $1.13. And let's go again. Okay. 1.15. Very consistent. I think I said that up above, and then it went higher a couple more times. So let's see how we do. We got two more cycles here. Yeah, it looks pretty consistent still. 1.15 again, and one more time. All right, our last run, and we are at 1.25. So did go up a little bit that time. So now let's do math. Right, let's see, 1.14 plus 1.13 plus 1.15 plus 5. Oops. Wow. Plus 1.25 divided by 5, 1.164. We'll say 1.16. That was our average. Okay, so again, 20,000 LWCs versus 20,000 divs. We had 1.16 versus 1.18, which with just the divs, 1.78, sorry. 65, so what, 35% faster without the LWCs. Again, it's an extreme case, right? So hopefully you're never building anything that requires 20,000 pixels on the page, but I'll build it because that's just what I do. But at a big scale, we can kind of begin to see, performance differences. And it doesn't mean that LWC is slow. It just means that for big stuff, if you can prioritize having to use less LWCs in an odd case like this, you would save, you'll save some loading time. But I think it also, again, these are really simple components, right? So I'm sure this would change significantly if there was a complex component being loaded 20,000 times, but you're not going to do that, right? So, but that's what we do on the show. We come up with dumb stuff and experiment with said dumb stuff and see what happens. And this was a interesting, just little path through through the performance numbers. Take them with a grain of salt. I wouldn't lose any sleep over this. Don't publish any. Don't render 20,000 of anything on your web pages, Salesforce platform or otherwise. You're probably going to have a bad time. All right. Now the next question is: Can we spread out the load? I don't know how to do that with how would we approach that with LWC? So maybe I want to load a row and then kind of almost scan them in, a row and a row and a row, so that it doesn't feel as jarring. But I think the problem is still going to be that would probably that might make the layout render a little more less jarring. But I think you're still just going to have too much stuff on the page. And that doesn't matter if it's LWC or just HTML. So we could sort of stream in, the rows, almost just put. So that's one challenge, right? To render over time, I would essentially need to be contributing more elements into this grid. All right, so I'd be appending a row each time, and then having the rows re-render. Ooh, could we do that? And then how would that perform? I can do a timeout, right? Let's see, do a timeout. But it's going to re-render each time we add something to the to the array. So would that impact the performance? It probably. How would we do that? We would start with. Well, we could do 100 columns, right? And then we would just have one component here. I'm going to go back to, or let's do 100 rows with one column. And let's flip this back to our pixel component. Again, I don't think it's going to matter, performance-wise at this point. It's just too much stuff on the page. But if I wanted to, I could set a timeout. Timeouts always mess with me. Let's see. LWC set timeout. or set interval. Will set interval let me just do something every 2 seconds? So some issues with set interval. I mean, I need to just remember how to use set interval, I think. Let's start there, right? Repeat a function every time interval. So we could... I can pass it a function, right? And then how do... boy, I have to... can I make it a... I think if we do this, let's try. So set interval, and then can we pass a function and just say every what, maybe every 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We want to do this dot calls dot push, right? We can push an array No, we just need to push one. We just need to push one value on there, right? I'll just pop a 0 on there. Let's see, set set interval, and then the issue is this. I need to be able to reference this scope. Doing this in LWC is the fun part, right? Set interval not working. Oh, right. So we can pass it. Can we do? What's their reference look like? Do I have to assign it to a property? Let's try this. Oops. We'll say this dot interval equals... I'm just following along over here. Set interval, do our stuff. All right, so move this up to here. Right. Will it inherently run with that, or do I need to call? We're going to find out. We are going to just try this, because now this should push a new column every, and I think we're going to need to, probably need to, I have found that I need to track arrays and objects. So we'll try that here. Okay, let's see what we get here. Oh. Oh. This is fun. Let's turn the speed up a little bit. Might even go faster than that, but this is now every second we'll get a new row. I'm sorry, a new column. I'm going to move it up to like every quarter second. So this is working, but I'm not going to, I don't know if we want to sit around and wait for it to take that long. But it seems like it will. What I'm curious is when it gets really big, do we start to notice performance degradation because of the way it has to re-render? I wonder. All right, let's run this a little faster. Very exciting, right? Okay. Is the browser still functioning? So we're starting to get a little, you can see the delay now in the performance in the browser. So we are starting to take a hit here. Yep. Speeds up. Well, I was gonna say it speeds up as I look at those errors. I wonder if this is our so duplicate keys, right? That's kind of that could be. Yep, starting to feel it a little bit now. I don't know how far we've gone numbers wise, but we're starting to die. We're killing the we're killing the browser. So it's not enough to just say, oh well, load them in, load them in sets, because just the nature of having to render is we need to make a change to data, and in doing so, we then repaints the the output. So this is a case potentially where breaking out Lightning components with parents and children could bring some benefit. You're still gonna suffer with too much stuff on the page at some point, but I could now ask those components to independently populate or re-render one another without impacting the entire data set. But this is hanging tough, but I think it's gonna I think we're gonna have a bad time here in a minute. So all right, well that was kind of an interesting experiment too. I'm going to turn off this interval stuff, and we'll go back to our 10,000 component layout. Okay. And there we go. All back to normal. So, what did we do? We did an experiment with depth. We found out that, at least as far as I can tell, 303 is the maximum depth that you can. That sales.
I'll send this.
Oh, okay. Hey, thanks, Siri. What did you send? Huh. Okay. Thank you, Siri, for listening in. 303 max depth for at least for recursing component. Again, would you ever want to build a 303 deep LWC? I wouldn't. But, your mileage may vary, or your need may vary. What else did we test? We tested a whole lot of Lightning Web Components and a whole lot of HTML elements, and found that at really big scale, like rendering 20,000, frankly, rendering 20,000 of anything is not a great idea. You might want to rethink your design. But rendering 20,000 Lightning Web Components does take a little bit longer than rendering 20,000 divs in a nested loop, doing like rows and columns. You take a hit even with the divs because we're iterating templates at that point. There's still some LWC framework at play there, but actually rendering out the components does take a little bit longer. I assume because we're registering more registering more component with the page versus just rendering HTML. So is that 35% faster? I guess, but it's not, it's absurd, right? Just don't do this. That's the right answer. Just don't do that. All right. Well, that scratched an itch for me a little bit, just to play with some LWC, depth, performance, rendering a little bit. I think that will just about do it for today. And oh, you know what? Wait, it's almost 4. Sorry, it's not 5. It's 4. Let's. I wonder, can we shift over? Let me see if I still have. Let's minimize that, and we got a little time. We can do some rock, paper, scissors, right? We could do some of this. There we go. All right, when we last left off with rock, paper, scissors, we still got some junk data in here as this user was working on replacing this flow, which is wonderful and was extremely fast to build and very easy to work with. But it's a little clunky, in the UI. So I think we can just replace with the discovery last week was, hey, we've already got an API call here somewhere that creates a game. So and it calls the create game flow, which is nice because we still have encapsulated all the logic that we need there. We just need to pass in a few things, namely the current user, the opponent that we're going to play against, and the move that we're going to make. And we have 2 out of 3 of those. Then we just need to pick the user. So the question really becomes, how do we get users, and what users do we want to get out? So we wrote a get user options here, and let's see, was this what I wanted? Yes. So get user options. We can search. We're going to look for assignments. We're going to look for users that have been assigned the RPS user, which means they're allowed to play rock, paper, scissors. If people in your org don't have this, well, too bad. No fun for them. And then we'll return a list of users that I don't think we implemented this over in our arena yet. No, we did not. So let's pick up where we left off there. Get user options. This really should happen when we first load. Should it? Because it's a search. My concern is if I'm over optimizing here, but if you drop this in an org that has 500 people in it, you're probably going to have a bad time with all the data that comes back. On the other hand, we could just retrieve our users and then just do some search in the. I think I'm just going to do that. We'll make this a little easier on ourselves. And actually, I'm not even doing the search string right now. We also want to maybe have, could I say assignee dot is active equals true. That could be important. And maybe we could return a variable does not exist. No, it does not, because we're not using it. There we go. Active permission set, active user has the permission set assigned, and we step through. We build our users out, assigned, out assignee. Yep, that should get us everything we need. So we ordered by name. So get user options equals await get user options. Probably should filter some out, right? We always end up with, let's see. We usually don't want and assignee dot last name does not equal user, right? That takes care of 3 of them. Last name does not equal process, and last name does not equal expert. Okay, here we go. Cool. Now we've got, let's make a user options property. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call this users. We'll call this get users. I'm going to change all this around because user options, I actually want to use that to build the, actual pick list options. Right, you're going to yell at me because we don't have that here. There we go. we'll save this one more time. Grab my seat here. Ooh. Okay, get our users, and then we'll let's get we need an array of let's see, this dot users dot for each man, what does that need to look like? Options need to be value label. That's going to be u.id and label. Oops, label is u.name. Okay. All right. And let's grab a sample combo box. I would love if this just kind of fit magically in the markup of a group. It's probably wishful thinking, but let's slap it in there and see what. Let's make this a label hidden. Choose. Oh, come on. Choose an opponent. Value. Come back to those. This is user options. Do we have a change? Do we have a generic change? No. Let's see. Handle user options change. Come back to this, and we do want a selected opponent ID, which is really what we're doing down here. Select opponent ID equals e.detail.value. I think I got that right. All right, and then we'll bring these back over to here. This is the value, and this is the event handler. Okay. And let's see how we do. Okay. All right. How's that look? Doesn't look right. It either doesn't look right because I got it in the dumb spot, or it doesn't look right because it didn't actually execute. Or it doesn't look right because we need to do a full refresh. Cache. Uh-oh. Didn't get our users. Let's go here. We get a message back somewhere. Try again. Oh, we shouldn't render that if we don't have users yet. I think that's the problem. Right? That could be part of the problem. We're trying to render something with user options, which implies we have users. I can't, I shouldn't be rendering. I shouldn't try to render something that depends on the options without actually having the users there first. Now, if there's an error elsewhere, nope, there it goes. Oh, that doesn't look bad. Doesn't look right, but it doesn't look bad. Kind of blows up the so I pick U2 and then I pick a action. Interesting how it just sort of like the combo box or the button group just sort of went away once we. I mean, I get it. It's probably just some you had a combo box in there and forget it. But all right, well we can pick so now I can pick a user, and I can pick a move, and let's see the moves. Do they have so handle new game move, right? Do I have that out here? I don't know if I have that as an event yet. Oops. We don't. So handle new game move. Right, so that's we have to go find the move in our array of moves. What does that look like? Let's take a look at that data. Here's moves. All right. Oops. Okay, so it's an array of objects, and we have something in here that I think indicates its name. So name, okay, so we just need to find the ID of the move based on the name. Okay. I feel like I've done this somewhere else. Did we do this on the game itself? It's not a big deal to do a find, but I thought I wrote it already. That's okay. So down here we want to say, let move name equal e.detail.value.to lowercase. We'll just compare the two, and then let found move equal this dot moves dot find and then we have an element, and then we have a dog scratching at the door. There's a find index, close enough. So return L dot name dot to lowercase equals move name. And if found move, then this dot selected move ID equals found move dot ID. And we don't have this. Okay. And does that get us what we are looking for? Let's refresh and debug. There, sorry, that was hanging off the screen a little bit. Okay, I think we're getting our moves. So now we're going to go down here and, wow, this dog is really... There we go. A little pushy. A little pushy he is today. Oh, let's see. Gotta refresh cache. Okay. And handle new game move. Found. Whoops. Come on now. What is going on? Okay. And go here. Is it just E dot? Wait, am I doing? I feel like I'm doing it wrong here. E dot. What? Oh, what is it? The value is on the oh, I'm sorry, we have it as a data set. E.detail that data set, I think that's what we're after. Or it's just E.data set. E.source element dot data. Oh, good gracious. E.target. I can never remember this stuff. Dot data. What is going on? Dot move name. Whew, thank you. There, that might be a little better. Okay, refresh. Move name scissors, found move. Let's see, L dot name. Am I doing that right? Yep. All that name is paper. Okay. Let's go here. Go here. If found move, we did. Selected move equals found move.id. Okay. And I wonder if we could disable these until this is selected. That seems like it would be useful, right? What would we need to do that? This is... We could probably just do a get, right? And just say get is user is opponent selected. And we'll return or does not equal null, right? I'm going to make both of these null just to kick them off. So then we can say over here, I'm going to change my logic here so that it's easier to, let's get rid of that. A little easier. Is user, is opponent unselected. Okay. Equals null. Okay. There we go. So now those should be, well, I might have to refresh though. Okay, so those are disabled. I haven't chosen an opponent. Now I choose an opponent. Now those are enabled, and I hit the button, and we should handle new game move. We're gonna we need to get which create game, right? So we need create game. Now, and we're doing rematch in the arena game. So we're calling all of this, and then we should dispatch an event. I'm just going to steal this, I think. I know it's like, don't repeat yourself, and maybe what we should do is, because we have to have a create game up at this level now, maybe the child games should just reference that, or pass in what they have and allow the parent game to do its thing, or the parent arena. All right, so there's create game, and then we've got call create game. We're actually just gonna I don't need the move ID to pass here. Do I have user ID? I do. Do I have opponent ID? That's going to be selected opponent ID. And the move ID is selected move ID. His rematch is false. And previous game ID is nothing. We don't have to unrematch. That's just a state in the game. We dispatch new game, And then how is that handled? We just unshift the new game data onto, so we can just pass handle new game. Yeah, let's we don't need this. I suppose we could just dispatch the event, right? And it would handle it listening to itself, I think. So yeah, let's just do that. And this won't be pretty. There won't be a lot of like UX nicety here. But I think we can just call that when we pick our game move. Okay. Cache, hard reload. All right. Moment of truth. I should log in as a different user. Yeah, let's do that. Let's log in as I have more luck, not luck, but it feels more legit when from an end user perspective. So we got 2 games that we're waiting for on user 3. I'm gonna should we take ourselves out of that? Just realized we probably should. Yeah, we can do that fairly easily, I think. We are looping through user options, right? Let's just say if u.id does not equal this dot user ID, then actually add the thing. Then we can't pick a fight with ourselves. Seems reasonable. Whoops. All right, and back over here. Okay, I pick U3. I play, I want to debug. Yeah, let's see here. Definitely want to step through this. So, game move. I'll play rock. We found rock. We found rock. Found move.id. So then we're going to call game. We're going to build the game data, our user ID, our opponent, our move. Oh, darn it. We missed this dot selected. Hold on. Gotta go here. Okay. All right. One more time. Okay. And now we're going to pick U3 and pick rock. And all of that seemed to work. So I got a user ID, an opponent, a move, and we should get, I'm going to just drop a few more of these in and go. We got game data back. I don't know why we're, I don't think we need to do the whole stringify parse thing here. But we've got everything we need regardless. So now I'm curious. This should handle new game, I think. I don't know if it's gonna, now that I'm thinking about it. We may just need to call that directly. Yes, we do need to call that directly. So refresh this, but we should have the game. We should have a new game on top. And we do. That's cool. Now we just need to clean up this part here. I don't think we need to do this. I think we just need to call handle new game, right? This dot handle new game, and then we'll pass it an object. This will be our E object, and we'll just say detail is game data. I think so. I don't think we need to do all this other stuff. Just piggyback on what's there, get the same effect. All right, here we go. Logged in as U2, pick U3. I'll pick paper. I haven't done paper. That was working. We're good there. And let's move to here. And those got all jumbled, so I want to stop here because I still want to see what game data looks like when it comes back. I think that's everything. I think we were just in the game, we're doing something that I can't remember here. Game data. Oh, because what comes back, right? What comes back from the server is read only, and we needed to attach a value to that, the rematch game ID. I think that was the issue. Yeah. I don't know if we actually need to do that, but regardless, we're back over here. Where did my debugger go? Here. All right, so we're on handle new game. This should go into handle new game. Boop, and it does. And there's our object. And this should drop it on top. Ready, go. And it did. And kind of did. We're missing some stuff. What are we missing? Expected to have the move, and expected to have the player and the opponent name. All right, so let's refresh, and we'll do it again, and we'll check the data that comes back through. So do U3. Let's do another one of those. All right, new game data. Opponent, I have I think we're expecting a name. Current player, we're expecting a name. And so let's see. When that comes through, this is my little alien guy. Hello. He actually does all the talking on the show. Yeah, he's the one down here on the mic. I just moved the cursor. Okay, so back over the API, create game. Creates the game, and then the game data comes back. There must be something in the flow that we're not getting back what we need. The same should happen with rematch, though. That's the interesting part. So I wonder, I guess by that rationale, are we missing some stuff when we rematch? Do I have a rematch that I can rematch? Let's see. My rock beat U3's scissors, and I want a rematch. And I'll play rock again. Yes. Okay. So we're missing some data from the flow, I think. From the create game flow, we need to populate a few more data points, which is the opponent's name, the player's name, the opponent's name, and the player's move. So let's go to our flow. I'm going to have to log out here, which means I'm going to log out of the whole thing, which is my favorite feature in the world. And we'll go over here. Okay. Flow. Flow. Create game. Kind of involved, but set game data. Let's see. We want current player and opponent. Yeah, so what are we missing again? We were missing the names of the players. Let's look at arena game template and see what current player.name, opponent.name, current player move icon, which requires current player move icon get move icon name player dot move. So okay, so we need to add a few things here. Current, let's see, game data dot current player dot move equals create game request. No, that's the move ID. We need to get the move name. Which I don't think we have in the request because we only have the ID, and I don't think we have it anywhere else because we just have the... Okay, so we need to query out the move. I'm going to leave that blank for now. Game data dot current player dot name equals... Again, I think we need to round trip that. Or query it back out, I should say. And... opponent, right? Game data dot opponent dot name equals something as well. So we needed to get the move, unless there's something in here already. Create game, create player. Right, we need to get player user, right? So user ID equals request dot user ID. This is kind of brutal. We're going to do 3 more queries in here. How many have we got so far? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 DML, and I mean, it's fine. You know, it's not gonna component user, and this is ID equals request opponent user ID. Okay, and then we got to get move. All right. Okay, ID one more time. Request move ID. There we go. Now we can come down here and say current player. So this is get. Where are you? Get player user dot name. Oh no, let's get move. Get move dot name. Player. Oh, come on. Get player user name. Okay, and this is get opponent user name. Okay. Save as a new version. Activate. And go back to the arena. And log in as, let's log in as U2 again. And okay. Once more with feeling. That's a rematch. Oh, is that a rematch? I thought that was a rematch. Should have the little hoodad if it's a rematch. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Challenge U3. Play rock. I think it did it. Did it do it? Challenge U3. Play paper. Yep. Challenge U3. Play scissor. Okay. Needs a little whirly-gig while it's doing its thing, and probably need to disable all those components while it's loading. But hey, okay, that's cool. So that's working. I thought one of these was a rematch though, but and I still want to do something clever with the rematch, like navigate to wherever. U2 has started a lot of games with U3. I get so. All right, let's look at our backlog on this thing. Tie and waiting look the same. Use blue. Didn't I do that? Yes, did that. This is done. Expand new game flow, not always end user initiated. I think we can take the flow away now. So let's actually edit our page here. Are we editing? Yes. Why can't I edit the page? What am I missing? Doing something dumb. Oh, because I'm not an admin. Whew, okay, let's do this. I'll keep the flow for now. Maybe it'll come in handy in other places. But for right now, let's edit this page. We'll take the flow out. Okay. Flow is gone. And now we can just use the game. Private games, haven't done that. RPS settings panel, haven't done that. Taunt your opponent, really want to do that. A player who has played a move and is waiting for your opponent's move can start a rematch with the opponent. Yeah, I guess there's a, it's okay, so I'm glad I identified that earlier. I guess there is a good question of like, how many times can you play, or how many times can you initiate a game with the same player, right? If they haven't played. I think it's fair to not be able to do that. I'm trying to think if there's some conditions where you'd get stuck if you did have rustling papers. How would you get stuck if you were waiting? So the implication could be like, hey, if you're using the app and you suddenly, I have a pending game with another player, and then we live in a future imaginary world where rock paper scissors tournaments exist. Then you wouldn't be able to create a match between two players if they had a pending game elsewhere in the system, if we were heavy-handed about that. So, I mean, I think we can leave it kind of open for now, but that's probably worth considering. This is even more general, so like the question is really, should a pending, or let's see, what are the words I want to use? If there is a pending game between two players, can another game be started between them? Question mark. Not sure. A little bit of cleanup on the let's see, arena arena UI, right? So new game requested equals disable, right? We should be disabling the combo box and move buttons, right? New game complete equals reset combo box and reset combo box. The move buttons should be disabled. We reset the combo box, the selected opponent ID, and the selected move ID. Should disable those. While it's requested, we probably should have a progress spinner. Right, these are all just like UI things that we need to have in place. So if we're let's make a is new gaming equals false. We can come down here and say right, is new gaming equals true, and then finally is new gaming equals false again, And then from here, we need a few more status. Is opponent. I'm going to be very literal here because there's a few conditions for each of these. So that's disabled if this dot is new gaming is true. Okay, so I'll take that one over. And we'll say disabled equals. Okay, and then let's say instead of saying is opponent unselected, let's say is move button disabled. This is a little extra work, but it's a whole lot more intelligible. So it's disabled if the selected opponent is null or is new gaming is true. Okay. And then we don't need is opponent unselected. And then let's get a spinner out there. Yeah, give me a small one. Now, is there a way to toggle these? We're just going to put it in an if, I think. I'm going to keep piling junk into this lightning button group. Just kind of want to see how it reacts. Creating new game. Okay. And then if true, is new gaming. Kind of a dumb term, but hey, it works. Okay. Well, let's take a look at that. Where'd we go? Again, going to log in as a user, get the full effect. And log in. Choose an opponent. Do the thing. Oh, okay. That's not what I wanted, but oh, and then we didn't reset the we have to reset the two properties, right? I don't need that. I need this. These need to probably useful to put those in like a reset call, but for now, go down here, null those out. Did I use the spinner improperly? I just wanted it to be in line. displays an image spinner to indicate this can be used in retrieving data. Oh, it probably needs to be in a holder. Okay. That must be it. I think. Because otherwise it seems like it takes over the whole distortion viewer. Okay, I'm completely distracted right now. What is this? Okay, I'll have to come back to that sometime. LWS console. Lightning Web Security. Yep, I a little behind on that. Spinner. I think it just needs to be in a container div. And so let's, yeah. This probably needs a little bit of UI love. Up at the top here, I think clearly the lightning button group has fallen down. I have killed it in all of these antics, but I just want a little spinner next to that. Now it's okay. So this doesn't look bad. It was looking a little goofy there for a second. We might even be able to square off the corners of this so they play nice. We'll see. Let's do scissors again. Nope, it's still doing it wrong. We'll see, because I'm probably doing it wrong. Let's do a hard refresh here. Need the inspector out to do that. Maybe the problem was just my cache. I think we can clean that up. Okay, I'll stop being distracted by that. Nope, still not working. Okay. Well, I mean, that's not a day ruiner. We'll just have to figure out why it's. I think it's just a placement. Honestly, I just want the spinner to go right there and do its thing. You could also use just another button, right? And just take the border away from it so that it just shows like a progress situation there. But it did reset our opponent. These are disabled. It's doing everything right. Set up way too many games with this player, but so this introduces another, bit of interestingness here, and in so far as this is getting longer, right? This is kind of extreme. I've obviously made a bunch of examples here. In fact, let's log out and be user 3, and come back and try to kind of blast through all those game requests. See what that looks like. U3. There you are. And then we can also mark some things done over here. Disable and move, yes. Progress bar, progress spinner, need to fix it. Game complete. We did that stuff. That's done. And are we logged? Oh, log in. There we go. Lots of games to play here. I'm just going to play. I'm just going to play rock for all of these. Hey, I won. We tied. I won. I lost. I won. I won. I lost. Oh, there's more. I lost. I lost. Oof, I'm on a losing streak. All right, well, we're all caught up in our on our rock paper scissors games, and well, I'll challenge you two to a game, and I'll play scissor, and we'll see what happens from there. Probably, I just realized we might need a little bit of disabling UI when an opponent, you know, let's see, let's say opponent move equals, you know, disable UI while saving. There was also a question of the player move record. Do we need it after game concludes? Right, it's there again for security, so that users can't see each other's moves and sneak up on them. Once a game is over, we stamp the player move up to the game, and or up to the player of the game, and then it's done, right? So those could be throwaway records at some point. But for now, they also might be kind of tied into a bunch of other logic, so not ready to pull those out just yet. But anywho, hey, there's, you know, we got some rock, paper, scissors going on in Salesforce, and you two and you three have been battling it out since March. It might be cool to build some statistics into this. We can show some win rates and loss rates, and maybe get some Salesforce reports and dashboards built up. But I really want to look at, you know, I want to put this on a I want to put this out on a community, you know, and share a couple of credentials to log in with. Do I even have access to that, to do that? Do we get some? Let's see. We set up an digital experience in here. We can. We'll take the really nasty domain name. Yep. Did I hit the save button? Okay. Hit the save button twice. I don't know what that's going to do. All sites. Let's make a new site. Dropping my pen. Let's just do a build our own. And this is YCDTOSF RPS. We'll just do RPS here. Do we need to expose the arena to... So things we need to expose. Now my gears are turning, man. So there could be an anonymous option for this, whereby you could send a rock paper scissors game to an opponent. But then we'd have to basically do some security by obscurity, which isn't great. not the best move. So I think if I just create, the whole thing's kind of throwaway, right? This org is throwaway. So if we were to create a couple of test users, do I have some? Yeah, I have some some community logins. I have some plus logins, so we could use some community plus, create a couple of customer community plus logins, and share them with the world. Maybe there's maybe the extra sauce there is we could have the UI. I don't know, just be able to take your name or your or your email address or something like that, and you could just know who's been, leave graffiti on the wall, collect a little bit of feedback and stuff like that. So maybe we'll get through that before next week. Maybe we'll do that next week and actually stand up rock paper scissors in a community and have a couple of generic logins that people could use and go play and have fun. So I don't think I have that component configured for out here just yet. No, I have to enable it for the org. So I think that's coming, because I think that rock paper scissors is kind of getting as good as it's going to get right now, without starting to collect some feedback and ask some questions and all that good stuff. So, and I think that's about the show right now as well. And this is good. So we monkeyed around with some LWC performance and did some odd things. Did some recursion testing. 303 is the magic number for maximum depth of recursion, at least from what we saw. 20,000 Lightning Web components on a page is too many. 20,000 anything on a page is too many. So there's did some testing of doing a whole bunch of LWCs versus a whole bunch of just plain HTML elements, and performance is not great. Performance gets eked out a little bit by the divs because they're just divs, right? There's no overhead with them, but for very big numbers, nothing performs very well. Switched over to rock paper scissors and did some housekeeping and tidied up the UI a little bit more, and I think we're going to get it out in an Experience Cloud site fairly soon and get some feedback going. So otherwise, I think that's the show. I'm Tom. You can't do that on Salesforce. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.